Welcome back to Beyond the Silence podcast, and I am your host, Lisa Toma. Josephine Carmela is an award-winning transformational feminine leadership mentor, and she is dedicated to empowering women to step into their authentic power and purpose. So she guides female entrepreneurs as well and leaders through personal growth, leadership breakthroughs, helping them embody their unique feminine strengths to create lasting impact and success. And I could not agree more. Stay tuned for part 2.
But we believe that trauma is worse.
Yes.
Because the lived experience of drama in our life that is on a daily basis that we're not as aware of,
I know
right?
where you're
Imagine the impact of that over an extended period of time, over years, right? Where you're just used to it and you lose more of yourself as time goes on.
Yeah. There's
right?
no opportunity for you, to bounce back. It's just you can't even pull yourself out of survival at
You're
that
in
point.
survival. You're in functional freeze. You're in survival. You're just trying to get through the day, right? Because you've become so accustomed to that, wearing that drama,
I know that.
and you don't recognize that you're lost, that you don't have access to your full self anymore, right?
You actually don't.
You and
Well, you do. You just don't know that you do.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
So which is worse? It's so hard to say.
Yeah.
Because both have a big impact on your nervous system, right?
Well, I feel like I experienced both all the
did.
time. Like I experienced trauma on more than one occasion,
Right.
but every day was drama, right?
Yeah. And
And
actually, sorry.
No, that's okay. I was saying that became so familiar to my nervous system that moving forward, that's what I chose. Not purposely.
You sought it out on purpose.
That's
Not
right.
on purpose, but there was a pull towards it.
It was familiar to my nervous
Familiar.
system, and that's what felt safe for me.
Right.
And whenever I was feeling real safety, healthy safety, it felt very uncomfortable for me.
And that's called self-sabotage.
That's right. Circling back into now when I'm looking at myself in the relationships that I chose, it was always in relationships that continued the drama and continuing with my own self-sabotaging, but not just in relationships. It's like the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. So it was in all areas of my life, in my career, in my work, in my friendships, in my relationships. It was just so evident. The self-sabotaging was so evident in all areas.
We tolerate until we stop tolerating.
That's exactly where I got to.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a decision. And it starts with the awareness, right? It starts with, and for me, it's like teaching women to really go and tune in, to trust your intuition. What that does is that it keeps you out of this cycle shorter. Like it condenses that timeline because you could stay on autopilot forever, right? But once you start listening to your body, because as you know, your body is always talking to you. It's just a matter of whether we're listening. It's a matter of whether we're listening and then whether we're trusting what it says, right? Our body will talk to us. So the faster we can get people to understand that the answers are within, they condense that timeline of staying, right? I hear this a lot. It's like, I wish I knew this sooner.
Yeah.
Right. I wish I didn't spend
Thanks
all
for
these
condensing
years,
my timeline.
right? Exactly.
Right?
Pleasure. Absolutely. What happens in the emotional layer goes into our physical layer, right? And so what happens in our physical layer also connects to our emotions, right? So like, for example, things that we don't think are very big, but if we don't sleep properly, or if we don't drink enough water, or if we don't take care of our physical body, we're not going to feel, right? We're not in that emotional layer. We're not going to feel as vibrant.
Yeah, of course.
We're not going to be walking through our day in, having all of our cognitive abilities at our disposal, right?
And these are just our basic needs.
And those are basic needs, yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
But definitely when you have like trauma on top of that, it creates like a much bigger impact.
Wow.
So absolutely, someone who's had extreme trauma can reconnect with their self-worth. The way that I would start is just by helping them understand that, number one, they're not broken,
Yeah.
because we believe that the trauma broke us, but we are so resilient as human
Yeah.
beings. And it feels like we were broken. We've had experiences in our past that feel like, that we were broken. But underneath that sense of brokenness is a resiliency. We would
Yes.
not have survived all these millennia if that wasn't there, right? So we have the capacity. So number one is like helping someone understand on a logical basis that they have the capacity, right? And then it's slowly bringing them into the soma, right?
Yeah.
Like the work that you do, the release work,
Yes.
right? So you need, like, trauma resides in the nervous system, drama resides in the nervous system. So we need to release it from the nervous system,
Create
right? We
safety
can't just
back.
talk about it, because
That's right.
talking about it, you're just like regurgitating it.
That's right.
So, things like that, your classes, right, which are phenomenal. Like
Yeah,
you're
thank
you're
you.
helping them to actually release the experiences from the nervous system. And the other thing is that we don't have to be aware of what we're releasing.
No, we
It's a
don't.
trap, right?
That's
To think like,
right.
okay, that I released that, thing I had with my mother. I had that father wound. It's like our bodies are so intelligent
Yeah.
that it just knows what's ready to come out. And as long as we provide that environment for it to come out, then it comes out.
Yeah, I love that you said that. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I feel like that was the reason that I even went, on this journey. I didn't go on my healing journey with the intentions that I was going to teach people
Right.
how to do all of this. I just wanted to feel better. I wanted,
Better.
and I had hope.
Right.
When I started discovering all of these things, I had hope. And it starts with, and you're so right, you don't have to know what you're releasing. There are things that people don't remember because you dissociate, you go into
It's
survival.
protective. It's
It's
protecting
so
you not to
protective.
remember.
Absolutely. But
It's
those
still there.
experiences are still imprinted in
Exactly.
our body, in our nervous system. And the release is so important, but I think the most important thing before the release is, like you said, creating that safety again in your body so that you could feel safe enough to even release.
Absolutely. They go hand in hand, right? It's like,
Absolutely.
sometimes the release comes first, and that gives you a sense of safety
100%.
again.
Yeah,
And then sometimes it's the
that's
opposite,
right.
right? It's just being open to however your body is needing it in that moment, right?
Yeah, and then it just
Yeah.
flows from there. And
And beliefs too, like
the
you're working on
the
your belief
hope.
system, right? And
Yeah,
you can't work on your beliefs until I believe that you've done the work in the soma, in the body,
100%.
right? Because then your brain's gonna just like chuck it out and
But that's
say,
the bottom up approach, right?
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what we've had, right? And now we're learning that that hasn't been as effective, right? So thank
100%.
goodness, you've stepped into your innate gifts and are offering these opportunities for people to come to a very safe space and to release.
So I feel one of the biggest things for me that I really needed to get under control was because I had such a lack of control in my upbringing and the things that were happening around me. It caused me to have a lot of anxiety,
Right.
especially after I became a mom. Right?
Right.
It
Absolutely.
completely transformed me because now I have these, oh my gosh, the biggest gifts of my life that I need to care for. I need to make sure that they don't experience any trauma at all.
I remember having a conversation with
Right?
you about that too, about
But
talking about how resilient your kids can be
that's
too.
right. But I feel like sometimes for me that my anxiety was so debilitating that it was so hard for me to push forward.
We've been taught to trust the mind more than the body.
Absolutely. We don't even listen to the body
At all.
ever.
Yeah.
We're always in our heads,
Right.
which is where a lot of like my anxiety came from in the first
Yeah.
place.
But
Right?
imagine like when you take yourself through a body exercise where you connect your breath, right? What happens?
Oh,
Your
yeah.
mind and your body, even your posture, even just like, right now, like just sitting, imagining that all of your vertebra, like, or everything's like lined up and you're not this, right?
Yeah.
Your energy is flowing.
Oh, 100%.
You're connected, mind, body, and spirit. And
Yeah.
so we have become so disconnected
From our bodies.
from our bodies. And I think that's really one of the biggest travesties of society today, right?
And that all circles back into what everything we've been talking about. So it was like, even for me, I do, and I'm going to be fully transparent. There are a lot of times where I'm still experiencing anxiety. I'm going to be very transparent, even through all of my healing, there are a lot of times where I do find myself in times of high anxiety, especially when it comes to the children.
Right.
But Now I have the tools
Exactly.
to bring myself down. I have the tools to reconnect
Right.
with my body. I know what's true in this very moment. And there's just like simple exercises to bring your nervous system and yourself back to the present moment. Because if, in our reality, anxiety is being in the past or the future,
Right.
right?
Not in the present.
And not in the present moment.
Yeah.
So I feel like having those, those practices, simple things that just bring you back to this very present moment where you know that you are safe,
Right.
where your nervous system is safe, and you come back to reality, back to your body.
Right.
Right.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Josephine, thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. It was like, I knew I wanted you on this podcast. You were like one of my top people. You have transformed my life. And I tell you this all the time, and it will never be enough. Thank you. I am so, so grateful for you. You are my forever friend. You are stuck with me for the rest of your life or mine. And I love you. Thank you for being here.
I love you.
So can you just tell everyone where they can find you on social media or website, and just share that information?
Sure. So the place I'm most active on is on Instagram at Josephine Carmela. Also, the website, thealignedwoman.com.
Ooh, love that. Thealignedwoman.com. Powerful. Thank you, Josephine. I'm also so grateful for all of my new listeners. And I feel like conversations like this are so powerful to have, because I feel like there's so much shame around everything that we are going through. And I feel like when we have open conversations like this, you can hear and you can see that you are not alone in whatever you're going through. And this was the purpose of Beyond the Silence, because we are all in silence with so much shame, hiding from the pain that we're experiencing and our life experiences. And when we open up and use our voice, and you can hear that there are so many other people experiencing the same things as you, you know that there's hope, and you know that there are ways to heal. So thank you. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. You can find me on Instagram at This Is Healing Official, TikTok at This Is Healing Official, and on my website at www.thisishealing.ca.
And I just got to say this, poet.
I love you. You're the best.